Hey, what's up everybody? This is Global Molastivator, and I'm here to show you my fully automatic flicker discharger. Now, I'm not here to try and sell you on the idea that this is an amazing character. Obviously, with 2,900 hit points, it's far too squishy for hardcore, and I actually do die fairly regularly. What I am here to show you is an interesting mechanic with Terminus Est supporting flicker discharge. Now, as you probably know, flicker and discharge don't cooperate well together for the obvious reason that discharge is spending all of your frenzy charges. Now, it turns out that it's actually fairly easy to keep things running just on bulk charges using things like Blood Rage, the Blood Dance boots, which surprisingly aren't as essential as you think if you're sorry, using Blood Rage. But it turns out what is extremely important is the Terminus Est. And I have tried this with all sorts of other weapons. It's not a question of how much damage you're doing, how many charges you're generating, but rather when you're generating them. Now, it turns out there's all sorts of instances where even a high-powered discharge is either not going to get a kill or it's only going to get a kill, for instance, if you're just flickering to one individual character from in between packs or something like that. To keep things going, what you actually really need is this Terminus Est. And the reason for that is that Terminus Est will grant you a fresh power charge when your spells crit. Now, good enough, Discharge actually has the highest crit chance in the game for spells, meaning that if you've got it set up to be a cast on crit character, you've probably already got enough native crit chance to get a pretty reliable stream of frenzy charges whenever Discharge goes off. So Discharge goes off, kills or doesn't kill a bunch of stuff, and you get a frenzy charge for the crit on that. Now, if you want to really have it never shut down, even against bosses, what you'd actually want is a 5 or 6 link, which I had previously. I don't have set up right now. A 5 or 6 link and have it casting discharge as well as 2 other AoE spells, just so that if it does go off on a boss and it doesn't kill anything, all 3 spell chances have a chance to generate a frenzy charge and keep this going. It really is not long-lived, even with Blood Dance and Blood Rage boots, if you do not have the Terminus S. So this is absolutely critical for the build. Other stuff that I have in here: Ramirez Banquet, Duresso's Defiance. Obviously, these could be swapped out for, say, a Vol's Protector and a Vol's Devotion. Have a quick look at the skill tree here. If you've already got a character that's sort of set up to be a cast on crit, you probably know how this looks. Wouldn't be too hard to spec out. The only things that are really critical for this build are getting the increased critical strike chance for spells, Doomcast, and the other one is obviously going to be Fatal Blade, which is 60% increased critical strike chance with swords. The other fun thing about this build is just the sheer bulk critical strike multiplier. I've got 320% on physical. It's actually higher on my spell damage, having me doing about 45 to 50,000 points of damage on a fully powered discharge, which sometimes goes off in chains. But anyway, I'll stop boring you with the details here. Get onto this map. Now, as for, I was sort of already in here, but as for the mechanics of playstyle, what you'll learn is that no matter what, you will wind up with no charges in the middle of a pack. And the reason for that is that the #1 consumer of power charges is actually going to be desync. So it desyncs, you whiff around, spend all your power charges, and then all of a sudden you're left standing in the middle of a pack with nothing to do. To cope with that, I use Static Strike with a lot of life gain on hit. Static Strike being an AoE, somewhat similar to Reeve, so it actually does pretty good life leech and pretty good life gain on hit regen. As well, if you're mapping and you want to be super cautious, I've also got it set up with a on YOLO mode, which would be just a Spectral Throw cast on crit Ice Spear, which does a pretty good job of clearing. Nowhere near as fun as the Discharger side of it here. So that's how we go. All you really need is 1 or 2 charges to get started. After that, you're pretty well off to the races. So you can see that despite Terminus S's low base crit chance, oh, and also this is how you deal with Ally Reflect mobs if you don't accidentally flicker into them, which is really the main reason why this is not a hardcore viable build. On a long enough timeline, the multi-strike will teleport you onto an off-screen reflect mob. It absolutely will happen. There's nothing you can do about it. Also note, you probably saw there, packs of dischargers, or of not of dischargers, but void bearers are definitely, decidedly not your friends. For fuck's sakes. Literally the only pack you can't go into is packs of void bearers. They will make short work of you, flickering around like a fool. And we can see the desync sort of randomly shuts the action down a little bit. And there's plenty of desync. Even with OOS bound to a macro, it's not enough to keep up with the quantity that this build generates. Another reason why it's probably soft core only. But whoa. So there you can see it was actually able to keep going with these diamond flasks pretty quickly against even bosses there. So anyway, that's the fully automatic flicker discharger. Hope you had fun. Hope it gives a build or two inspired, and yeah, have a good day.